I'm Alan Weiss, and this is The Writing on the Wall. Hi, I'm Alan Weiss. This is The Writing on the Wall. Welcome, episode 56, European Stuff That Makes Sense. As I'm recording this, I have just returned from London and Normandy. Fabulous trip. We were there for 2 weeks, long trip for us, and there's a lot of stuff going on in Europe that would make sense here. Now, I know you're listening from all over the world right now, so I'm speaking from a U.S. perspective. This is sort of American-centric, but we have a lot to learn. For example, here's one word: trains. You can take the underground in London and get places accurately and well. You can take trains to any place in the countryside. The British complain a lot about their train service, but it's still much better than ours. And the high-speed train that goes from London to Paris and Lille and Calais and Brussels is fabulous. London to Calais in an hour and a quarter. You get some food and drink. The only thing we have like it is the Acela in the United States. Trains are great. They're fast, dependable, pleasant. Everybody takes them. We should do more of that. Number 2 is body parts. We're very uptight about body parts, but in Europe, on the beach, on television, in public in general, people aren't so uptight about it. We ought to relax about that. We're much too much prudes about body parts. As a matter of fact, there are some commercials, some TV advertisements in London that would never be shown in the US that are hysterical because there's a body part here and there. We need to get over this. Next is breakfast. They do an interesting thing at breakfast. They have eggs, but they have meats, they have cheeses, they have tea, they have fruit. It's a nice, diverse kind of breakfast. You can eat light, you can eat heavy. But there are choices, not the same old, same old. Breakfast is done with a lot more panache, I think, in Europe than it is here. And croissants, please, we need more of them, but better. London taxis. Now, they're spotless, they're courteous, the drivers are wonderful, they're knowledgeable, they make these sharp little U-turns that are fabulous. They all look alike. People talk about the drivers knowing all the addresses. They have to take rigorous tests to become a London taxi driver. And of course, the streets make no logic in London. There are all kinds of crazy places. But the most important thing is, there is no taxi driver who is listening to a cell phone, eating lunch, and reading while they're trying to get you somewhere. In New York, that often happens concurrently. It's a sin. The taxis smell, they're rattle traps, they're noisy, they're uncomfortable. Why can't we emulate what London does? What is so hard about that? Then there's the theater. The theater in London is wonderful. Now, you can make a case there are more shows on Broadway, and you can make a case a lot of what happens in London comes from Broadway, but the reverse happens too. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Billy Elliot, plays like that come from London to the US. However, the thing about London is it's a more discriminating crowd. They don't jump to their feet trying to prove they had a good time after a mediocre production. There aren't standing ovations after every performance. Very few people get up, and when they do, it's for something truly outstanding. You go to the New York theater, everybody's jumping up for everything. It's ridiculous. Also, in London, they have bars everywhere. You don't have to all crowd together to try to get a drink. They sell stuff before, during, and after. It's very, very civilized. Much better experience in the London theater, and they're kept better. They're much more comfortable, and they're cleaner. Immigration in London, as somebody entering it, is far easier. If you get one of these express passes, you can get through immigration faster than if you have a UK passport. There's seldom more than 2 or 3 people in front of us in line. Moreover, people are courteous and polite. They're not treating you as guilty until proved innocent. There's multilingual assistance in London. I'm embarrassed when I land at JFK or LA and I see what people have to go through to get into our country. So the immigration service could learn a lot from what happens in Europe. Road civility. Now here's a big one. In all the time I've traveled in Europe, 99.9% of that time, people use their directional signals. They acknowledge stop signs by stopping. When they come to a roundabout, they provide the proper courtesy before they enter it. They know who has the right of way. This morning, before we filmed this, I went to work out. Somebody shot a stop sign, made 2 turns without signaling, and sped off. There's much more road civility. People stay out of the passing lane unless they're passing. Now there's a conceptual breakthrough. All these people snailing along here in the passing lane. Trucks, buses, circus animals, you name it. Not there. They get the heck out of the passing lane. We have a lot to learn from drivers in the UK. Now finally, there are some things they can learn from us. For example, service in most sectors is inferior to the United States. Fine hotels are great. I talked about the taxis, great restaurants, but other than that, the service levels are very low. I asked a woman, a server in a restaurant, what kind of cheese I could get on my burger, and she said to me, melted. What do you expect? Not entirely helpful. The television stations are fine, except they need a lot more of them. They're very limited, and there's not enough diversity. But most of all, we've been through Kensington Park, we've been through Hyde Park. They need to clean up after their dogs. Dogs run free, they have the run of the place, they're happy, but nobody cleans up after their dogs. Koufax, that's why you have 6 acres. I'll see you in Europe.